Hey guys, it's Gary here, and it's been about 2 years since I last did my Singing Monsters reviews, and those reviews sucked to say the least. But now I'm a changed kind of man, and today I'm going to review all of the epic Wubboxes inside the game. My Singing Monsters is a game I've held near and dear to my heart as I've been playing this game since right before Wublin Island came out. So yeah, I know a thing or two, but anyways, back to the ranking. This ranking will consist of these factors: how well they sound individually, how well it sounds in the song, and how well it changes the island compared to previously. And also, I am going to factor the design in a little bit. Keep in mind, this is my opinion, and every monster has its fans, yes, including Pummel. So I already know that people will disagree with my opinion going into this. But yeah, without further ado, let's get into my ranking. Alright, so at the bottom of the list, I think most people can agree with me when I say that Air Wubbox is the worst epic Wubbox. This is the only epic Wubbox that I do not actually like, as I think the rest of the Wubboxes are actually good. But why do I think that Air Island has the worst Wubbox? Well, individually, this Wubbox sounds like a random jumble of loud ear rape noises. The dude is just screaming at the top of his lungs, and I don't think it sounds good. And I know a lot of you are already going to argue that is what all the epic Wubboxes are, loud noises. But this one is loud without anything else to back it up except for a few tiny stomping noises that you can barely hear inside of the song. I mean, just take a listen. Speaking of the song, you can barely hear it despite how loud it is because it plays in the already random jumble of noises that is that first part in Air Island. So, on top of individually sounding bad, it also barely has any sound in the part it plays because it plays in what is already the most overcrowded part in any song. So, it adds absolutely nothing. One positive thing I can say about the Wubbox is that I like the design, but to instantly negate that point, all of the Epic Wubbox's designs are good, and out of the five of them, this one is my least favorite because I think the other ones look better. I just think that the aviation design isn't as good as the rest, which I know it's on Air Island, so it's not its fault, but still, overall, this Wubbox just doesn't have any significant changes and adds nothing to the song it's in, which is why I put it at the bottom of the list. Alright, so now we're getting into the Wubboxes that I like, and these next two coming up were actually pretty close, but ultimately I had to put one under the other, and so next up is Plant Island's Wubbox. I like this Wubbox, and it has a good individual sound. I think the shaking effects of the Wubbox sound really good, especially in the beginning part of the song. Where this Wubbox falls a little short, however, and why I decided to put it at the number 4 spot, is because of the second part of the song. I don't think it adds as much to its song compared to the next Wubbox up on this list. The part where all the monsters start singing right before the ending, you can barely hear it because the regular Wubbox overpowers it and sounds better in that part, in my opinion. Still, this Wubbox has an individual part that sounds really good and parts that really change the song in the beginning and end parts. Also, the design I think is better than the next Wubbox coming up. I actually like how simple the design is, resembling a tree. But like I said, I'm only taking the design factor only a little bit. And compared to the next Wubbox coming up, it doesn't change the big parts of the song as much. And I think it's a little too quiet here. But again, I still like the Wubbox, but I don't think it's as good as the next one coming up. Speaking of the next Wubbox, at number 3, I have decided to put Cold Island Wubbox. First off, I want to say that I do like the design. I just think that the Plant Island one is better. But I still like how it resembles a snow dozer, and also the icicles on its head look really cool. But that's not what this ranking's really about, so let's go on to what I really like about this Wubbox. First of all, while I do think that this one and the Plant Island one are about equal in terms of individual sounds, I like how this one sounds in the actual song better. For one, it adds to the build-up of the drop really well. Instead of making random loud noises, it makes shaking ice effects, which sound really nice in the build-up part, when it gets to the drop. Speaking of the drop, you can actually hear it inside of the drop for once, and the noise it makes followed by the effect worked really well. I also think that its final part is really good transition into Strong Bonin's part, which also gives it points. Overall, a really cool design and individual sound followed by enhancing the Cold Island song a lot makes this Wubbox go above Plant Islands. Next up, we take a step from the great to the amazing in terms of epic Wubboxes. The next epic Wubbox on our list is Water Island Wubbox. Yeah, it's safe to say that Big Blue Bubble really stepped up their game on the last two epic Wubboxes in the game. First off, I just wanted to say that this design is my absolute favorite out of all the epic Wubboxes. I just love how the head is a submarine front with the eyes that add a lot more charm for me. Same with the body being a submarine and having the little orb inside of it being like a sphere, just like in an actual submarine. Also, the anger feet are really cool. But my favorite part has to be the little things that make bubbles just like an actual submarine does when moving, as the arms are exactly like mini submarines. But enough about the incredible design this thing has. This is about how it sounds individually and inside of the song. And what do I think about how it sounds? Well, individually, I think it sounds incredible. The stomping sounds it makes up by the bubbles in the end are really good and creative, and the sound it makes from its mouth, while kind of goofy, also works with the stomping and bubbles in the middle of the song. In terms of how it actually blends in with the rest of the song, the first part of where it starts actually works really well with common Wubbox, as you can hear right here. I think that it adds to the calm vibe that Water Island has. I know it's crazy saying that coming from a Wubbox, and the end part just adds a nice bubble effect to cap off the song. Overall, while only my second favorite, Water Wubbox still adds a lot to the song and sounds amazing individually and has the best design out of all the Wubboxes, but still falls under what I consider one of my favorite monsters of all time. And of course, at number one is Epic Earth Island Wubbox. I know a lot of people are going to complain in the comments about how overrated this opinion is and how overrated the island is, but seriously, this Wubbox adds so much to what Earth Island needed to what was already my favorite song in the game. Individually, this monster sounds amazing, giving a really good percussion sound to what Earth Island really needed, and the noise it makes from its mouth goes really well to the stomping effects it makes. Also, the sound itself is just a bop without the rest of Earth Island monsters. This monster could easily make itself an entire Earth Island. Speaking of the rest of the monsters on this island, the Earth Island Wubbox really adds a much needed percussion beat that the island really needed after Wardos came along and gave the island a bigger party vibe. While the Wardos help with the summer party vibe, Earth Wubbox truly made it sound like what it should have been all along, making this island the biggest bop of a song of all time. The Wubbox really helped Talker's part the best, however, as that part, in my opinion, before Wubbox came along, felt really lacking compared to the rest of the song until our best boy came around. Also, when Stewart and Talker both say "do the earthquake," and the giant machine that Epic Wubbox is starts making noise, really helps with the transition from the build up from the drop to the big drop. Also, the design, while not being good as Water Wubboxes, still looks really nice being a giant factory machine. My favorite part of it has to be the hands being a digger and the thing that picks up the things that were dug. Overall, just the perfect Wubbox that really should be what an epic Wubbox is. Well, that was my ranking. Be sure to tell me what you thought in the comments, and I hope you enjoyed this video. I might make another one, I don't know, maybe, but yeah, goodbye. Also, friend me.